Hello! So I thought it would be really fun to introduce all of my rats and my unusual pets and then pick out book recommendations that I think that they would read if they could read, or just books that remind me of them. Each Sleepy, she was a lot more enthusiastic earlier. Oh, but she is giving me kisses. So I'm going to start with Miss Scramble. She is a very loving, energetic, jumpy girl. Her personality is bubbly, very silly. She's a fan favorite of anyone who comes over. She's very sweet. She loves giving kisses. She's an adorable, mousy brown. And this is about as big as she's gonna get. She is full grown, little girl. Her full name is Scramble, but we call her Scramby for short. She wants nothing more in life than to just sit and play with me. And every time I walk into my room, she is at the front of the cage chewing on the bars. Like, actually chewing on the bars. Like she's a convicted felon, which I'm sure she is with some things. And because she is so lovable and sweet, I think she would adore romance. Emily Henry is probably Scramble's favorite author, including Book Lovers, Beach Read, and Happy Place. And I think Funny Story would actually be her favorite, and Scramby would be a protagonist, for sure. Her personality is probably the most like Poppy and People We Meet on Vacation, but I don't think that she would enjoy that book as much as the others. YA would be Scramble's favorite genre. She's on my arm. Where are you going, girl? She loves playing in my hair. YA is definitely Scramble's favorite genre. She would fly through Heartstopper and would adore Nick and Charlie, of course. My Life Next Door is a very sweet, I think it's a summer romance, as well as Since You've Been Gone has a little summer romance, and it's also features female friends as a central theme. She has a sister named Cowgirl, and they're kind of opposites. I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson would be a staple on her shelves. This is about Jude and her twin brother who were once very close, but then 3 years later, they suddenly don't really talk anymore. It explores their relationship to each other as well as people outside of their relationships and things that they're hiding from each other and why it was severed in the first place. It's also really heartwarming, which Scramble prioritizes in her vote. I also think that she would be a huge fan of manga. This is the only manga I have on hand, but I have plenty of graphic novels. Also, Lumberjanes I have somewhere back there. She's the girl who will roll up to the YA section of the library and check out like 20 volumes of manga all at once. Not speaking from experience. And if she read Fairy Tail, which is the only manga that I have on hand, I think Death Note I have to have somewhere. Natsu and Happy would be her favorite characters. I think if she were a character in the Fairy Tail universe, it would just be a mix between Happy and Natsu. She loves tickles. She will run circles around you. Oh my goodness. She likes getting on top of your head and sitting on it. She also likes grooming my hair. Okay, we've got to get your sister. It's your sister's turn. If you relate to Scramble's taste in books, please comment below which ones you think she would enjoy next. Okay, I know you don't want to go up, girl. Scramble's sister is Miss Cowgirl. Scramble and Cowgirl are foils of each other, where Scramble is very bubbly and energetic and loving. Well, you're acting pretty loving right now, aren't you? Cowgirl is kind of the opposite. She's pretty aloof. She doesn't love being handled all the time. She is boggling and bruxing though, so I think she might be a little happy to be out of the cage. She sometimes picks fights and is a little feisty, and she's definitely thrill-seeking. If I let her out to play, like in my bedroom, for example, she'll somehow slide off the bed and then start exploring my closet, my drawers, particularly my underwear drawer. I did find her in there after I lost her for 20 minutes. So for that reason, I'm first picking the borrowers. She is a lot like Arietti, maybe not necessarily as charismatic, but she does like to borrow things that are not yours. She definitely shares the craving for adventure and exploration like Arietti does. And because of her name is Cowgirl, I had to pick a couple of cowgirl books. First being True Grit. I have not finished reading this, but I have started it. And she would just be Maddie Ross, right? I mean, she's a cowgirl. Also, Outlawed by Anna North. I did read that. I do not own it anymore. I think I already sold it. Cowgirl would 100% join a ragtag team of queer female outlaws. 100%. She'd be the one loading up the dynamite and exploding the train and then looting everything. You ready for your close-up? Let me go. Let me get on the floor. Let me chew. Let me chew the walls. And Cowgirl's favorite genre, as she's telling me right now, is feminist literature and novels about unsound women. We have Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar, Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. This is a personal favorite of hers. And then My Dark Vanessa. She is telling me right now, this is not a book I would recommend to everyone. And Cowgirl also says it's not for everyone. If you're able to stomach books that are quite dark and explore twisted psychology, and if you can stomach books like Lolita, then go ahead and read this. It's not fun to read, but it's very interesting to read because it's told from the perspective of a young girl who is the victim, rather than like in Lolita, where I haven't read Lolita, but I think in that one, the victim is not the narrator. This is a very internal story. Yeah, it's written in first person, and it's all about her very, very complicated, sometimes really fucked up thoughts about the things that are happening to her. And Cowgirl gave it 5 stars. Isn't that right? I think Cowgirl would also love Our Wives Under the Sea. This is my current read. It's very odd, a very odd book about this married couple, Miri and Leah. Cowgirl is a lot like Miri in personality, and then Scramble is a lot like Leah, at least before Leah went under the ocean and went a little, you know, bonkers. I'm about halfway through, and there's something really weird that happened to Leah when she went on her diving expedition in a submarine, and things just aren't the same in their relationship anymore. Now on to the boys. This is Rooster. The boys are much bigger and chunkier than the girls are, but he's actually getting to a pretty healthy weight. Mr. Rooster is half blind. He has one red eye and one black eye, and he can be pretty shy. He does, like Cowgirl, kind of like to pick fights. He gets very overstimulated pretty easily, so he's already telling me I'm a little overstimulated. I know. And he's pretty nervous and skeptical and suspicious about things because he can't really see very well. So that's why he's kind of jumpy. Despite this, I think he's very philosophical and would enjoy things like dystopian. He loves Fahrenheit 451. I know, he doesn't think anyone should burn books. On his shelf are also Animal Farm by George Orwell and Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Dystopian really makes his mind think. He loves fantasizing about overthrowing the government. And because he picks fights, he sometimes thinks that he could be a sort of Napoleon pig. Or would you be more of a snowball? Because he loves political sort of fiction, he would really get into Game of Thrones. I see him very much as a nerd, so he would love sci-fi and fantasy, Lord of the Rings. He has read all of the Game of Thrones books like 5 times, I would think, and he is very impatiently demanding the next one. George R. R. Martin. My rat is relying on you, and he only lives like another year, so please, please, write the next one. And I think he would be a very big fan of the Star Wars Extended Universe. I know that's technically not canon anymore, but he doesn't care, and he actually hates the Disney adaptations of Star Wars. I don't mind them as much as he does, but he cannot stand them. And lastly, The Martian by Andy Weir is his favorite book of all time. Take me to the moon. And his favorite movie, he's telling me, is Interstellar. That's my favorite movie. Mr. Butter is the second chunkiest of my boys. He does have a little lump on his lip. Don't worry, he has been seen by a vet and it's under control. He's a beautiful champagne color. His little adorable ears and eyes just make it look like he has no thoughts behind them, and he doesn't really have thoughts behind them. He's the type of guy who's very clingy. He's a hopeless romantic, he does not leave you alone, and he's the embodiment of the, oh, he's standing right behind me, isn't he meme. He is obsessed with my boyfriend Taylor. He will sit on the headboard right behind Taylor's head and just stare at him and just sit there. And then whenever Taylor's not in the room, he'll sit in Taylor's spot, just waiting for him to come back. And sometimes he'll sit behind my head and do my hair a little bit, but he is really quite clingy to the people he really loves. And because I imagine him as quite a romantic, the books I would stock on his little bookshelf include The Great Gatsby, because he is Gatsby. He's basically rich. He has new money. I mean, no rat lives like he does in that giant mansion. He would completely go head over heels for a girl like Daisy. I think he secretly loves Scramble. Throw all these extravagant parties on his end of the cage, hoping that she'll see them on her end of the cage. They do not live together, by the way. Just for it to be unrequited, because we can't have 150 rats running around here. Similarly, he is Romeo. Like Romeo, he's young and dumb. I stand by the fact that the first half of this play is just a comedy, and he wants to laugh. And then at the end, he'll cry. Because why can't everyone be together? Butter tends to follow around Rooster and copy what he does. So another thing on his shelf that he's only read half of is Candide by Voltaire. He does think it's really funny, it just takes him a really long time to read it. It's okay, everyone reads at a different pace. My last and chunkiest rat is Whiskey. He has the most adorable face. He is quite chunky. He's been on an eternal diet, it seems like. His favorite activity is eating. He is, in general, not very smart unless there is food involved. He's incredibly food driven. He will learn a new trick in under about 5 attempts because he's so hungry. As you can see, he's very curious and cuddly. He's probably the sweetest one out of the boys, and he is always down for some cuddles. And he is one of the male rats that I think has a very sensitive side. He doesn't really want to be vexed too much while he's reading. He doesn't mind a little cry. My first pick for him, Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. This is about 2 teenage boys, their intimate relationship, and it can be pretty emotional while reading this. And he said that it's one of his favorite books of all time. But I've recently gotten him into Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust. He loves books that have amazing descriptions of food. There are also 2 rats in these books. There's a rat in this book who is a bookseller, and then there's a rat in this book who is a baker. Can you ask for anything more? So if you guys have any recommendations for food-centered books with lovely descriptions of food or cooking, Whiskey wants to know. I also have 3 other unusual little pets in here. I will not be holding them or handling them because they are little jumping spiders, and right now most of them are asleep. But I did get footage of all of them, and I will start with Mr. Dewey. Now for Dewey, I do not know their gender, so I just switch between he and her whenever I feel like it. She is a very curious little spider. She will sit like this on the edge of her enclosure and stare at me while I work. She'll follow me around the room with her gaze. She loves hunting. She loves running laps around her cage. She spins little webs, but she's more interested in hunting and jumping. Very happy, loves exercise, and I think she would really adore sports romance. I don't have any sports romances, and I don't think I've really read any sports romances. So if you guys would give Dewey some recommendations. Dewey is short for dewdrop, by the way. She would probably read the hockey romances, and what other sports are there? I don't know. Baseball, basketball, she would read them. I think she would love those. She is also quite intelligent, and I think she would love to read about explorers. I sometimes see her with a giant volume of Greek mythology in her legs, and she's using all 8 legs to plow through these books. I'm jealous. I wish I had 8 legs and 8 eyes to read super fast, you know. Just the other day I saw her reading my copy of the Odyssey. I know. Crazy. She's almost as big as 1 letter in here. And I don't know how she wrote in the margins. She's way more capable of doing things than I realize. She says that Calypso is her favorite character, but she wishes she was Odysseus so she could go to all the different locations. And she said that she wouldn't be so stupid as to call out her name to the Cyclops. It got really cold in here, so I ran and got my heated blanket. Another book that reminds me of Dewey is Jonathan Livingston Seagull, because I know that there's just something in Dewey's little arachnid mind that yearns to do something amazing, beyond the bounds of a simple spidery existence. Jonathan Livingston Seagull was able to become a sort of philosopher seagull. He became an amazing flyer, flying like a hawk, doing dive bombs, and everyone thought he was crazy. Dewey wants to do the same. My next spider is Miss Diva. Once again, I do not know her actual gender. She is too young, but she's in a pink enclosure, so that's that. Diva is very independent, classy, sassy, enjoys the finer things in life, dreams of being a movie star, like a prima donna in the opera. She gets lots of beauty sleep, and she is always hungry, only really talks to me whenever she wants food. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is her most recent read. She wants to be a movie star so bad. And spiders, you know, especially female spiders, have a lot of husbands. They even eat their husbands. So this was pretty relatable. This one she has not read yet, but I really think she should. Emma by Jane Austen. She is Emma. Emma Woodhouse, handsome, clever, and rich, with a comfortable home and happy disposition, seem to unite some of the best blessings of existence. Just replace Emma Woodhouse with Diva, the spider, and that's her life. She doesn't even have to find her own food. I give it to her, so. And every October, my own copy of this goes missing because she is rereading Twilight. She's read it many times, but she avoids New Moon because she hates when Edward is away. She is Team Edward because, you know, vampires are basically just humanoid spiders. Can you blame a girl? And my very last spider is Wally. So sweet. She's my biggest spider. She's fully grown. Recently, I've been calling her Mama because I think she might be a mother. She has definitely created some sort of beautiful, thick web hammock of sorts, and that either means she's molting or she's laid an egg sac. I'm keeping an eye on her. I'm not sure if these eggs are developing into anything. Oh, she's out right now. Hi, Mama. She's pretty shy, quite artistic. She is a whiz at spinning some webs. She made that super thick web hammock in under a day, it felt like. She also prioritizes coziness. I think she has an entire studio apartment in there. If she ever did actually become a mother, I could see her pulling out worn copy of Little Women, sliding on her slippers, sitting into the rocking chair, putting on her reading glasses on all 8 eyes, and reading to her 8,000 children right before they go to bed. Yeah. Little Women just reminds her of her 800 sisters that she once had. She's a sucker for a sweet, old-timey romance. So The Blue Castle by Ellen Montgomery is something she reads so often that she's had to buy multiple copies. And she really looks up to the main character, Valancy, because of her internal monologue. It's so snarky. Sometimes Wally wishes she could say the same stuff out loud. Her favorite book is probably A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. It reminds her of her own upbringing, not in Brooklyn, but, you know, every morning she pours herself a nice cup of coffee or tea if she's feeling spicy, and reads a poem from Emily Dickinson's complete collection. Her absolute favorite lines, she'll even take a page out of Charlotte's book, from Charlotte's Web, and weave an entire web to hang up in the window of her studio apartment. It's really quite beautiful. So those are all my pets and their favorite books. I had a really fun time picking out books that represent my animals in some form or fashion. So please like and subscribe and leave some comments about your favorite books and which animal had the best taste. If you don't tell them, they'll just argue about it. So, goodbye, little bugs. Fun fact, this is the second time I'm recording this because I did not turn on my microphone earlier. Awesome.